Purchase applications are crashing. Home sales will follow if you believe the trend. So we are going to have a Q4 where home sales transactions have crashed. We've been talking about a buyer's market for a long time. This is exactly what we saw coming. Also, we're going to talk about a brand new lending product that, if it's right for you, could be very impactful. We're talking conventional 90% LTV cash out refi. This could be a game changer for some. It may need to be avoided by others, let's be clear, but I think for some it would be very, very helpful. Of course, we had this conversation with Matt, the mortgage guy. Matt, we got the numbers, and they're not great. Purchase applications down something like 17%, refis down. I guess rates matter, huh? Rates go up 0.5% and activity falls.
Rates matter 100%. Like we can predict the numbers for mortgage applications before they come out just based on what rates have done. And, compounding that is that we're going into Q4. The later we get into the year, the more, seasonality is going to have the impact on top of the direction of rates. And it's funny, Mike, like I've had this conversation so much recently where a client was like, oh my gosh, 6.6. And I said, I've been working with this client for 18 months. If we went from 7.1 to 6.6, yippee, 6.6. But since we went from 6.1 and we went back up to 6.6, it's like, oh my gosh, why so high? And so like the direction of rates plays into the psyche of the consumer as much as anything. And so we'll see the other effect when rates go from 6.6 back to 6.1. People are like, oh my gosh, they'll go back week over week.
No,
we're up
you know what
15%.
they're going to do then? They're going to say, oh my God, 6.1, we're almost to 5.99. It's the continuous waiting, always
Right.
waiting. It's crazy.
But what people should be hearing is demand is down 17%. What a great opportunity. Go out there and write an offer that you would like. A client that you and I both know, one rental at a time follower, just got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,700 square foot home in Sacramento for under $400,000. And talking with them, like, you don't buy stuff in Sacramento for $381,000. Like, you just don't, right? And it's in decent shape. And so opportunity is what most of the one rental at a time community should hear. And I also want people to understand that, despite what Reventure might say, or despite some other stuff, there's very few markets where you're going to get heavy discounts, right? You might be able to go to Austin, Texas. You might be able to go to some places that exploded, and now you're getting it for 25% less than it sold for in the summer of 22. But for most markets, like I'll use Sacramento, the market I know the best because it's the market I live in. You should be excited to get an 8% discount, a 10% discount from maybe what it sold for in the summer. Because the truth is, I don't know, Mike Zuber doesn't know, nobody knows the future, but the most likely scenario to play out in my mind is that real estate remains relatively flat, but as rates come down, that has upward pressure on prices. More people come in, there's more demand. I'm not telling you the house is going to be 10, 15, 20% more expensive, but for you to think that the 8% discount you might get in Q4 is going to be around in Q1 or Q2 of next year is probably not the case, right? And so lock it up now for 381. Don't say I want rates to get to 575, because then you might pay 4.25, right? And especially on the lower end of the market, like there's still enough demand to create a floor where you're not going to get a 40% discount. There's no major event that's going to cause enough inventory to come to the market at the same time for you to get a deep 30 to 40% discount.
Yeah, again, I've made a lot of great calls. One of the greatest calls I think here recently was this buyer's market. And it certainly, let's be very clear, the buyer's market is even a better call at 6.6 than it was at 6.1.
For sure.
Because at 6.1, we were getting dangerously close to that psychological 5.99, which could have unlocked marginal demand. Again, we didn't go there. We went the other direction. And as investors, as people that follow one rental at a time, I hope you hear this. No, I hope you feel this. We want less demand. We want to write disrespectful offers. We want to find sellers who have to sell. The best deals are made when a seller doesn't want the asset. It's a lot easier to do that when demand is gone. It's how you get a Sacramento house at 382 or whatever it was instead of 425. I'm getting notes every day from people about 40 and 50 and $60,000 discounts. And these are on sub 400K houses. These are like real discounts. And it's just time. It takes work. It takes follow-up. It's never easy. And the other thing, all I care about is cash flow. I don't care about the cost of capital. If I could snap my fingers today and make mortgage rates 9%, go for it. I don't care. I'm going to write it where it makes sense at 9%. And then I'm going to lock it up for 30 years. And if rates ever go down, I'll do a cash out refi and be in a better place. It's just, the game is simple. Now, if you're a homeowner, a first-time homeowner, it's hard, right? It's just hard. But the beauty about being an investor is I just write deals that make sense today. And if mortgage rates get better in the future, great. If they don't, I don't care. It's a freeing feeling to be an investor for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then to your point, like it can't get worse. You can't write a 30-year fixed rate mortgage at 7.5 and have someone knock on your door and go, you know what? Rates are higher. We'd like 8.25 from you this year. That doesn't happen. You only improve on that. Rents, generally speaking, over time only go up. It only appreciates. The debt you owe on it only goes down. And so, you lock in a deal that's a good deal today, it just gets better. And I think, quite honestly, if I look at my stuff, Mike, the 2019 purchases I made were okay deals that turned into phenomenal investments over time. And a quick caveat, listen to the daily financial news and you talking about how the vast majority of people are worse off than they were. I feel more poor. I'm doing less mortgages. If you look at the Excel sheet that I've had since 2016, which tracks my net worth, because this dummy is smart enough to own some real estate, my net worth is higher than it was 4 years ago, right? Even though I don't feel it, I don't necessarily get to go out there and
I would guess substantially higher than 4 years ago.
Yeah. It's gone up a little bit owning 11 units in California, but yeah, it's the game. You buy the appreciating asset, you let it appreciate while somebody else pays the debt down, and you win. That's how real estate does it for you. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not a 40% year on year, Bitcoin return, but over time it wins every time.
I couldn't agree more. Well, let's also talk about this brand new product. UWM has put out a 90% conventional LTV for cash out refis. So again, this is really hopefully build consolidation. I'm thinking for lots of folks, let's make sure they're better off, not worse off. Because again, you've heard me say this. I'm worried about the whole ATM of your home thing again, because that's really what caused the 06 was a wave of people treating their homes as ATMs versus assets. But let's talk about what a 90% conventional CLTV loan cash out CLTV loan might mean for someone, or LTV loan, drop the C.
Yeah,
sorry,
to your point, and like every single mortgage product that exists, like this is not for everybody. But there is, I can't believe, like we passed up 1 trillion in consumer debt, and then I think like it got to 1.1 or 1.2 relatively quick, and like a 0.1 when you're talking trillies is $100 billion.
That's a big ass number, yeah.
A lot of consumer debt. And so, when I think about this product, which, it's only your primary residence, and it's up to 90% cash out on a conventional loan with a 680 plus credit score, which if you're below 680, you're probably in a FHA loan anyhow. It's going to make sense for some people. You bought your home, you've got 7.3% interest rate. You probably increased your housing expense because, let's be honest, if you bought in the last 2.5 years with housing prices and with rates, and maybe you let $30,000 in credit card debt creep up on you, and $30,000 in credit card debt at 20% is a lot of interest. So maybe you go from 7.3 to 7.8, 7.5 on a cash out to 90, clear all that debt. This 90% product has no mortgage insurance. Like all things, there's pros and cons. Is the rate going to be the most smoking rate? No, there's hits. When you go to 85%, it's about a quarter hit basis points, not rate. Another quarter to go to 90. I think it's like a 175 basis point hit to have no mortgage insurance. So like I already know before I even price these things, we're talking 799 probably, but 7,375 if you're currently in that, and if you're paying mortgage insurance, you take out cash, pay off 30,000 in credit card debt, go to 799. That's probably going to feel really good and be a good short-term-ish loan. 2 years from now, little bit of equity, comes into play, and you might be at 80%. You refinance that thing to 599 or 6.25, and you do a good job of not racking credit card debt back up on theirs. Like this is, a good thing. I think what not enough people do is set a plan and stick to it, right?
Yeah, I think there's a couple
what I would love for people to do with this product is talk to somebody, say, here's the game plan. Here's the mortgage for today, pay off this stuff. Forget about the plastic. Your new mortgage payment is this. You're used to paying this much on your credit cards, and just figure out a way to stop. Like the credit card debt, really, truly, I heard this somewhere recently too, where like their profit margins are like 52% or something. The credit card companies just print money. And if you can avoid that stuff at all costs, you're going to be in a lot better place. And unfortunately, bad habits are hard to change, right? So somebody might do this and rack up credit cards, but do it, stick to a plan, have a refinance goal, which I think a lot of people in the next 24 or 36 months are going to be in a lot better mortgages. This is going to be a good kind of short-term loan for a lot of people.
No, I think again, it's like you said earlier, right? This is a lending product that's going to help some people out there. I think if you're going to even consider something like this, you got to work with a professional who's going to tell you no if it doesn't make sense, right?
Right.
How would somebody reach out to you, talk about this product or any product in the suite?
Go to greatmortgagebroker.com, fill out the quick form. Happy to help. If you're in California or Texas or Florida, or I'm in Tennessee as well, I don't mind if you email me, matt@mtmg.com. I love the ORAC community. Just know that email, they come fast and furious for me. And I try to clear a couple hundred of them in a 20-minute block. And so might miss you. So greatmortgagebroker.com or matt@mtmg.com. Either way, love to hear from you. And if you don't hear back from me, throw something at me again, because I'd hate to miss out on giving you some good advice, which quite honestly, in these cases, it's going to be 7 no's for every 3 yeses.
Probably. Yeah, probably 7 no's for every 3. Well, that's why you're here. That's why you keep coming back, because you're not just going to go get that money for doing a deal. You want to make sure the borrower is in a better position, which I appreciate. And I love the feedback I get from the folks that work with you. So keep it up, Matt. You're amazing. Take care.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you, brother.